Coming up on today's show, we're going to run through the Browns playoff path. I am Matthew Peterson. Yes, I have a bit of a clown mask on because, no, there really is no real way the Browns are going to sneak into the playoffs, but they are mathematically not eliminated. They have a 0.7% chance of making it, and I don't know about you, but my favorite thing to waste time at work is going out to the New York Times or the ESPN playoff machine and just going through all the scenarios and finding a path. So we are going to do that on today's show. Let's look at the current AFC playoff picture right now. Cleveland, of course, in the hunt at 6-8. They are behind the Raiders and the Jags, and they don't have tiebreakers over the Patriots or the Jets or the Chargers or the Dolphins. They are going to need a lot of help. Now, I have long said I thought the only way they would make the playoffs is if they were to have won the division. That is now out of reach for Cleveland. The AFC North Standings, Bengals at 10 wins, Cleveland at 6. There's only 3 games left. There's a 4-game separation. You do the math. The only way the Browns are going to make the playoffs is if by some miracle they run the table. And with that, we are going to go look at the table. It is a very, very low chance, but you're telling me there's a chance. You betcha. Let's look at the Browns playoff path. Step by step. Step number 1, must win out. You have to win the next 3 games. No ifs, ands, nors, or buts about it. Their schedule is pretty favorable, so I don't have much of an issue with buying into this element of the parlay of why can't they beat a bad Saints team, go to Washington and beat the commies, the Commanders, and then beat the Steelers on the road. Like that right there isn't unfathomable. There's not a juggernaut on the rest of their schedule. So I can confidently check the box of, yeah, it's not unlikely or it's not impossible for them to win out. But here's where it gets interesting. All of these steps are contingent on one another. They're not dependent. They're not independent. They are dependent on one another. So the Ravens, they have to lose out. There are some other teams that could lose out. I think the Ravens might be the most plausible one. You could agree to disagree. The Ravens schedule, they've got the Falcons, the Steelers, and the Bengals. Now, Atlanta and Pittsburgh are not very fierce competitors, but we're talking about a Ravens team that, once again, is getting hurt at the end of the season. And if Lamar Jackson can't go this week, all right, well, maybe the Falcons can shock the nation and pull off an upset victory, Desmond Ridder against Tyler Huntley. And then if Lamar returns for the next game against the Steelers, well, what if Mike Tomlin decides to have a vintage Mike Tomlin road underdog game and surprise Baltimore? And then at the Bengals look like one of the best teams in football right now. So maybe the Ravens lose out if we get a little lucky with the Lamar Jackson injury not returning as soon as possible. Now, if the Ravens don't lose out, it's not the end of the world. There is another set of options, okay? And that is option 2A. The Chargers or the Dolphins lose out. You need one of these 3 teams to lose out. The Ravens, the Chargers, or the Dolphins. Because of Lamar Jackson's injury, I think the most likely one would be Baltimore, but it's just one of those 3. And so with that, let's look at the Chargers and Dolphins remaining schedule. The Chargers, I think they're not going to lose out, right? They're going to win against either the Colts, the Rams, or the Broncos. All 3 teams have fewer than 5 wins right now. There is no way they drop all 3. Maybe 1 and 2, but no. So then we turn our attention to the Dolphins. Now, this is much more likely to get a lose out. Not likely, but more likely, which is Week 16 against the Packers. Now, quick fun fact, I'm recording this Monday night right before kickoff of Monday Night Football, and I'm going to say Baker shocks Green Bay, and the Rams win 21-17. This is going to come out tomorrow, well, for me tomorrow, for you today on Tuesday, and we'll see how that airs. But Week 17 of the Patriots, Week 18 against the Jets. That is a much easier lose-out path than the Chargers, in my opinion. Still not likely, because at least Miami showed some fight in their last game against Buffalo, but maybe Aaron Rodgers brings his A game. Maybe the Patriots I won't say even stun Miami, but, give Miami a good fight in New England. In Week 18 against the Jets, who knows? Maybe Robert Saleh wants to squeak into the playoffs, although we can't have that happen either. So now we move on to the next phase of our plan here, all right, of our path. And that is, after the Browns winning out, one of these three teams right here losing out. Then you get Vegas losing at least one game, plus Jacksonville or Tennessee also losing just one game. You can't have, basically what it means is you can't have the Raiders and the Jags win out. You can't let that happen, okay? Let's look at the Jags and Titans schedule first here, and then we'll look at the Raiders schedule. The Jags schedule, at Jets, home at Texans, home against the Titans. You just need them to drop one of these games, and that's very Jacksonville-esque. Right when things start going, they fall apart. The Titans, they've lost, 4 in a row at this point? You just need them to lose one of those 3 games. Very well could be the Cowboys, even the Texans, for crying out loud. They've played well the last couple of weeks, kind of starting with the Browns game. Now, for the Raiders, you also need them to just lose one of these 3 games. At Steelers, home against the Niners, home against the Chiefs. Honestly, I could see 3 losses right here. So I'm not very fearful of this element of the path of these 3 teams just losing one game, or just the Raiders plus Titans and Jags. Okay, we're gonna get to more on this playoff path in just a moment, but first, we have Deshaun Watson jerseys on sale right now at Fanatics. And here's the cool thing: you can get these jerseys before Christmas, but you have to act quickly. They're on sale, less than $100, pretty good deal if you ask me. Go to chatsports.com/Watson jersey. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. All right, here we go. We're putting more clown makeup on as we get further into this video. Step 4, but kind of step 5 because I broke step 2 into 2 different steps. The Jets and Patriots lose 2 out of their last 3 games. All right, buckle up. Here we go. Patriots schedule. Bengals, that could be a loss. And then lose Dolphins or Bills. Like, I don't have much of an issue with the Patriots going 1-2 in that stretch. Yep, and producer Nick Roloff, a Pats fan, flicks me off. Jets, meanwhile, lose to the Jags. Okay, well, then the Jags can't win the other games, so now we're kind of getting our wires crossed. But lose to the Seahawks and the Dolphins, but then we can't have the Dolphins lose out. So there's a lot of, like, Game of Thrones schedule incest going on here. It's not pretty, it's not neat, it's not clean, but that is the playoff path. The playoff path for the Browns. Now, I should also add, the Browns are out if all these things happen. Well, one, if they lose it all, then they're just done. But this Sunday, or this Saturday and Sunday, this Week 16 weekend, if the Browns lose, they're immediately out. But even if the Browns win, let's say the Browns win, but Ravens beat the Falcons, Chargers beat the Colts, and Patriots beat the Bengals, if those 3 things happen right there, Cleveland is out even with a win. So that is your rooting guide this week, right? We need Falcons to win. That is great. We need the Falcons to win. Sure, root for the Colts, but I don't think that's going to do much. And then the Bengals over the Patriots to kind of knock them out of the race as well. So that is the 5, 6, 7, I don't even know how many step path it is for the Browns to make the playoffs. I think I got it down. There's a lot of playoff machine time I spent on this, so feel free to correct me if you think I missed something or I messed something up. Decent chance I did. But be honest with me. I want to ask this one question only for the entire show. Do you believe the Browns can squeak into the playoffs? It's fun to at least be in the hunt. That's all you can really ask for other than making the playoffs. But in terms of at least staying relevant, being on the hunt graphic during Sunday Night Football, I mean, that's football porn right there. So I'll take that for now. Would like to have had that Jets game back, and now you're feeling a lot better about your chances. But that's the NFL for you. I appreciate everyone for clicking on to today's show. Hoping you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to sign off, and I'll catch up with you all tomorrow with more Browns news and rumors.